While health workers and medical staff around the world are being widely hailed as heroes, some are facing physical and verbal attacks fueled by fears they're exposing others to the coronavirus. Well, to get more on this, I'm joined now by Howard Catton. He's head of the International Council of Nurses. Well, thanks for joining us here on the programme. Can you explain exactly, has there been a rise of attacks that nurses are facing?
Thanks for having me on. Yes, we've been receiving increasing reports of abuse and attacks against health workers around the world. Sometimes it may be verbal abuse, but we've also had examples of stone throwing, of spitting, of bleach in one case. Psychological issues as well, with nurses being threatened or evicted from their premises because of this fear that they're spreading the virus. Now, this would be unacceptable at any time, but in the midst of a global pandemic, it needs to be condemned in the strongest possible terms. We need governments to take a zero tolerance approach to it. I know that this may be the result of fear and of ignorance, but I actually think it's even more critical as countries are coming out of lockdown that we deal with this very, very firmly.
We've called for governments to take a zero-tolerance approach and also said that, this could be the result of people expressing their fear and ignorance. But what can be done to change that type of behaviour?
Look, I think a really key issue is that people get clear, simple, straightforward public health advice and information. They have to believe the experts. They have to believe their political leaders. They need to see transparency in the messages that are being given. But I think people also who in their millions have come forward to applaud health workers as well need to recognise the enormous pressure, the mental health pressures that our staff are under as well. They're anxious about their own safety, so they have not had enough equipment in some cases. There's a theme here as well, isn't there, in terms of whether we're really prioritising and protecting health workers' safety. And we've also called that we think political leaders and G20 could do much, much more to support coordination around the world. We are only as strong as our weakest link in this. Briefly,
if you can, Howard, what can be done then to protect staff further? Can we sort of perhaps isolate them again? Is that an additional punishment, perhaps?
Listen, I think education is key. If there is abuse, then that needs to be dealt with very, very firmly and send an absolutely clear message. I think that we would be really helpful to see commitments to action investing in the workforce now as well, in addition to the applause, the supply of protective personal equipment. And let's make sure we give our health workers a break as well. This thing is going to run for a while. It still feels as though we're nearer the beginning than the end. We can't exhaust or deplete our nurses or health workforce or have them simply walk away for fear of attacks.
Howard Catton from the International Council of Nurses calling for more protection for those nurses and their staff. Thank you.